In the latest in our series of conversations with the major players in the airline industry, I visited a newcomer on the block, Air Italy. I flew to Milan to spend some time with its COO, Rossen Dimitrov. Most people don't really know about Air Italy, and they don't know about the derivation of it, because you really are an amalgamation now of 3 airlines. So explain how you came to be.
Well, obviously, as you're aware, in February we launched our new brand, Air Italy. So you had Meridiana, and Meridiana is a well-established airline in Italy.
Based where?
Olbia, and this was with the partnership of Qatar Airways. As you know, Qatar Airways is 49% shareholder of Air Italy. We're a completely new airline now, a different business, different opportunities. Relaunched the brand as a full-service airline.
Because I knew you guys as a charter operation mostly.
Yes. We're no longer a charter operator, we're a scheduled international airline. Obviously we serve the domestic market as well, but we continuously expand on our long-haul routes.
And those long-haul routes to the United States are to New York, to Miami?
Correct, and soon more will be announced.
But in order to do that, you need other aircraft.
They're coming.
Have you figured out which ones yet?
Yeah, we will operate with the 330, Airbus 330 aircraft. It's a very well-established and known aircraft.
Which model of the A330?
The 200 and the 300, yeah.
So the 300 lets you go to Los Angeles if you wanted to go there.
Are you asking me the question if we're going to Los Angeles?
Go ahead, tell me.
Yes, we are.
That means people in California can then use Milan as the hub as well.
Definitely, yeah. You know, the West Coast is a very important market as well, and there is a demand for the West Coast, especially during the summer season. So we're not going to miss that opportunity.
But what's surprising about your route map is where you fly that nobody knows that you fly, at least in my market. Lagos, Accra.
Dakar, Cairo.
So if you wanted to, you could use Milan as a hub.
And we are. Our goal is actually to build Milan as a hub. Milan is our home at the moment. It's our international hub.
I'm assuming Milan has the capacity to handle that.
Yes, they do. As I said, our relationship with SIA, the Milan Airport Authority, is really, really good. We work together on the expansion plans. We work together on what is required for us, and they're extremely accommodating.
Now, you were at Qatar for many, many years. You know that the mission statement of Qatar, when you think about the flow through Doha, it's 85% of the people who are flying Qatar are not going to Doha, they're going through it.
Yes.
Right?
For us, it's different. You know, Italy is a great destination as well. We actually promote Italy as priorities to promote Italy. And we always would like people to come and visit Italy and spend some time in Milan. Milan is a beautiful city. Italy is a great country. The history, the food is absolutely outstanding. So we want people actually to stop in Italy and visit. We're not looking just to transfer people very quickly.
When I look at some of the other airlines that have had similar challenges, right, in terms of destination and hub and spoke, what a number of them have done to incentivize what you just talked about is giving their passengers the option of bookending the flights. Meaning, if you fly to Cairo, and you'll give them 2 or 3 nights in Milan.
You will see these things coming in the very near future.
Now, when we look at the general geography of world airlines, we're seeing so many now that are just either undercapitalized or have to do last-minute partnerships. We've seen what happened with WOW. We've seen what's happening with Flybe and a few others. I mean, is there a big shakeout coming?
Well, we always look at partners, and we've entered into some co-chair agreements. We have some existing co-chair agreements, as we just announced yesterday, LATAM, and we're very pleased. There is quite the demand for flights to Brazil. We would like to connect our domestic network to LATAM. We have our code on the LATAM flight, so that is a great experience for us. We have many established and existing co-chairs. You will see more partnerships coming, and we'll be announcing more and more cooperations with other airlines.
I mean, if you look at the growth, let's say, of Turkish Airlines, and they make the statement, which they can back up, that they fly to more international destinations than any other country, any other airline in the world, they're in 44 of those 54 countries in Africa. So is that a target for growth for you?
Africa is a very important market for us. We work very well with the ethnic communities here in Italy. We always evaluate the demand, and you will see more African destinations coming on the route map.
I mean, the opportunities there for growth are, 54 countries.
You know, we're looking also at Zanzibar as more of a seasonal destination.
So you can always go back to it.
Well, the biggest challenge is first to establish ourselves as a brand, for people to know us in Italy and what we are about. It's not just a new paint job, it's not just a different color of an aircraft. It is a new brand. We're a full-service airline. We offer a state-of-the-art product. So for me, it's very important for people to understand who we are as a brand and what we offer. And as well, to be able to offer the Italian public, finally, a quality service and an airline that cares about their customers.
You know, we've gone from generations of international flag carriers I mentioned Alitalia in that as well, to a new generation where flag carrier may not mean what it used to mean. Because Alitalia is a well-known brand,
Yes.
but it's also had a well-known history of disruption and union problems. We all know what happened with Etihad. Alitalia was in such bad shape that the Italian post office was going to save it. Whoa. So therein also lies an opportunity to build a new Italian airline.
Yes, there is. And for us, I don't even look at Alitalia. I look at the Italian market. I look at what the customers want in Italy, and they want a quality product. They want an airline that they can be proud of, and that this is what we're trying to build. We would like to be an iconic airline in Italy. We would like to be the preferred airline in Italy, and this is what we're striving towards.
But wouldn't you argue that the concept of a preferred airline is often the airline that you have to fly, as opposed to the preferred airline?
There are many choices here. I think in the airline market in Europe, there are many choices. You can take many airlines.
Well, when I landed here today in Milan, you just take a look at the apron. You've got Norwegian, you've got Ryan, you've got EasyJet, you've got airlines whose logos you'll only see in Europe.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Right? And I mean, when you think about it, Meridiana was an airline you'd only see in Europe. So given all of that competition, right, given where fuel is, how do you see yourself not only surviving but succeeding?
You have to manage your cost, obviously. You need to be smart on how you build your network. You need to work very closely with your employees. And when you look at the success rate, sometimes small mistakes can put you in trouble. For example, is launching a destination without doing your business case on it. That could be an example. We've seen many airlines who, for example, will select to fly a network. It very easily shows that it's not sustainable from the beginning.
You need to know when you go in, you better stay in for a while or you're never going to build it.
Exactly. And some markets are just seasonal. You need to operate, it makes sense only to operate seasonally, but that doesn't mean that you're abandoning the market. You'll go back again when it makes sense.
What about Cuba?
Cuba is also a seasonal market. For us, we were operating charters, and a lot of these charters were in conjunctions with a cruise line. And we have revamped our network. We needed our aircraft to operate on routes that make
better
sense
yield.
for us. Yes.
So you're out of Cuba then?
Yes, but that doesn't mean that we will not go back.
Well, Cuba's an interesting story because when the United States started relaxing restrictions under the Obama administration, everybody, oh my God.
Yes.
I mean, if I had an airline, I would have gone, right?
Yeah.
And look what's happened. They're pulling back.
Exactly, and this is when you make those mistakes. You suddenly see a market, a small market, and you think that you will go and you'll be rolling in the cash, and that is not the case. You need to be smart about it. And there were some airlines in the US that did not go aggressively into Cuba. And the same, they prefer to do to look at the leisure market and when it makes sense for them to go to Cuba, and many pulled out.
Well, there's also the passenger mix on the plane. If you have a situation where there's no business travel, there goes all your margins.
Yeah. And that's why you talk about leisure travel, and is it the right configuration for the leisure market?
Is it sustainable?
Exactly. And you have to make those decisions.
I'm reminded of the famous Richard Branson quote that if you want to be a millionaire, start with $1 billion and open an airline, you'll become a millionaire.
The airline business is a very sexy business, and everybody thinks it is a business that you can get rich very quickly. It's totally the opposite. You can get poor very quickly if you make the wrong decisions.
Look what just happened with WOW.
Yeah.
Was that inevitable?
No.
They could have fixed it?
Potentially, but maybe it was too late.
They expanded too fast?
Yes. You have to be very careful.
In a given year, going forward now, how many markets can you sustain opening that are new?
We know what makes sense for us now. We had a very good year last year with the North American market. We know there is opportunities there. We know the VFR market is quite sustainable. The demand is there. So North America for the moment is a priority.
So what makes you think Los Angeles is going to work?
There is a demand. We've been watching what other airlines have been doing. We've seen Norwegian was planning to operate out of here, and there was a demand. For other reasons, they decided not to operate beyond their control. We've seen what friends have done from Rome, and it worked for them in the summer very well. We've done our due diligence, and we looked at the intelligence that is available to us, and we know it's going to work.
Who's now flying nonstop from Los Angeles to Milan? Anybody?
No.
There's an opportunity.
Definitely. And who doesn't want to visit Los Angeles?
And you'll use the A330 for that?
Yes.
And it's got the range?
Definitely.
Give me an example of a market that you were very excited about, and whoops, it didn't work.
We've launched Bangkok. I look at Bangkok, for example, and watch it very closely to see, is this a seasonal market? Is there an opportunity perhaps to redo our business plan and market? And, do something different in Thailand. So this is a market that we need to watch very closely.
Are you flying it daily?
At the moment, no.
No.
No. But the demand is there in the winter. I know the demand is there in the winter from here, but then we need to be very careful what we do in the summer, or if it makes sense for us to be there in the summer, or if we should pull out and potentially go back in the winter, or we relook our business plan and how we manage Bangkok. So Bangkok for me, it's a destination that I'm watching very closely, a market that I'm watching.
But for the moment, you're not in China.
No, we're not in China.
China to me is like Cuba. Everybody wants in
Yes.
because they look at the numbers of how many Chinese are traveling.
Yes. Yeah. And there is a demand here from Italy to China and vice versa from China to Italy. It's not an easy market to enter. You need to be really well prepared. You need to have people on the ground there. You need to have your infrastructure established in order to enter it. And
Local knowledge.
Definitely, definitely.
Because the model that I looked at recently was the cruise ships. They all wanted to go to China because they saw those numbers.
Yes.
They actually went to the shipyards and built tailored, constructed ships for that market. It didn't work.
China is one of those markets where you need to have boots on the ground, people who know the market, have the experience in the market. You can't just enter today to decide, okay, well, let's go to China and we go. You will fail. You will fail.
Now, one of your other titles, if I get it right, is Customer Experience Officer?
Yes.
So let's talk about that.
Okay.
I like to say, you may not like this, but I like to say that for many airlines, if they were telling the true branding message, it would be, we're not happy until you're not happy. How do you improve, given the bar has been set so low, what are you doing to improve that experience that's going to separate you out from the rest of the pack?
When we look at the market, we look at the industry, and we listen to our customers.
What are they telling you?
You know, customers are really surprised. I'll be very honest with you. When people are traveling with us now, let's say to New York and Miami, people who have flown with Meridiana before, you know, they book a flight and they think, okay, this is just a different version of Meridiana. It's the new Meridiana. And they come on board and they're so pleasantly surprised. I didn't think much about it. I knew that you were associated with Meridiana. I don't follow the airline industry. And oh my God, I had such a pleasant surprise. Your crew were incredible. The aircraft were spotless. Your duvets, your pillows, your menu, way to go. And I wish more Italians know about it. Our marketing team right now is working very hard as well to tell the story of who we are and what we're doing. You may have the best aircraft in the market. It's like having a beautiful Mac without the software. And I'm very proud to say that our people have embraced the change. Right now, at this current moment, people are undergoing a new service training, new customer experience training, emotional intelligence training.
Stop right there. Emotional intelligence training?
Yes.
Because, you know, by the time somebody comes up to a ticket counter, they've been so abused as it was that you have an opportunity, right?
Yes, you do. You do. So we want to provide the skill set to our people. And as I said before, we're not just this leisure airline anymore. We're a global international airline, proud to be an Italian airline and take the Italian face to the world. And for us, it's been very important to make sure that our people are ready to face that new brand, that new challenge, that new service, that demand. Every time you have those beautiful pictures out of your aircraft, of your seats, of your duvets, the TV ad, you tell a story. And that's a promise that you make to the customer.
I remember when I got the press release many years ago, you know, that Alitalia had hired Armani to do the flight attendant uniforms. I said, yeah, but Alitalia still means all land in Tokyo, all luggage in Athens. The point that I'm making is it didn't change the experience.
Definitely. And you know, we're looking at it in a different way. I would like to, as I said, I would like to make sure that the experience is what we promised and more.
Let's get down to specifics. Forget the duvets for a second.
Okay.
You have Wi-Fi?
We do.
That's a good deal. Is it good Wi-Fi?
Very good Wi-Fi, and we're very proud of our catering. You know, we'll be revamping even further our services and catering on board, but you will really see the Italian cuisine on board our aircraft.
And the reason why I asked about good Wi-Fi is because you know from your days at Qatar, right? When they first put the Wi-Fi on, how slow is that Wi-Fi?
Times have changed, technologies evolve. You know, when you go into negotiations for Wi-Fi and connectivity, you have one package on the table, and you know the moment you sign and get it,
You're stuck with it. You're stuck with it.
You're stuck with it, and 2 months later something new comes up. So you always have to think ahead.
You have to pull a plane out of service to do the installation, and if you want to change it, you just have to still pull the plane out of service.
Definitely, you know, and this is it. You need to think of when is the right time to do that installation. When that aircraft is in maintenance, is going, you know, regular
To a C check.
Exactly, and this is the time when you do it. There's wireless entertainment now. You don't need to have a box anymore. And airlines are starting to move in that direction as well. Everybody travels with a device nowadays.
Well, as long as you've got the Wi-Fi capability and the bandwidth, you don't have to provide anything.
Definitely. What was not available 3 years ago and 4 years ago is available today. You know, what we in the airline industry were fantasizing about, what connectivity should be all about, now it's become a reality. and it's just going to keep on improving.
On your business class product, lie flat beds, duvets.
Yes. Rio pillows, great service, pajama, everything is available. You know, we are a full service airline. You look at the trend of what people want, what people like, what they're asking for, and you keep on changing. You have to be very dynamic. And I think on those long haul flights, people a lot of times rest, a lot of times they eat, and a lot of times they look for interaction. And you know, I started my career as a cabin crew, and I have to tell you, a lot of times when you engage with a customer in the galley, that's the highlight of their trip. They love that interaction, and for us, this is what is important, and this is what emotional intelligence is all about: is reading your customer, being able to anticipate their needs, being able to connect with them.
Interesting development on the Singapore flight. You know how they've configured the plane. It's business class and premium economy. And they're having trouble selling the premium economy seats because people are dreading the notion of a 20-hour flight in economy.
They just need to let the public know, and I think it's almost like a trend. You know, once people experience it, they get comfortable with it, they understand that it's not a dreadful experience, it's a good experience actually to go, then it becomes kind of the norm. As everything else, eventually will become the norm. I look at the North American carriers, and you know, we're talking about basic economies and you know, no service and buy on board and so on. But things are changing now again. Now there's also focusing on more on service and catering and product and taking care of their customers and so on. Well, some airlines have always done it. You know, I look at Qatar Airways, for example. You know, they've always focused on their customer.
Well, they're in a game of one-upsmanship. You know that. They want to be better than everybody else because someone's going to be about to be better than them.
I wouldn't say they want to be better than everybody else. They just do things better than everybody else.
Now they got better Wi-Fi.
Yes.
And so do you.
Yes.
What's the one thing you dislike about your own airline?
I would like to see the airport infrastructure get redone faster. I would like to see more amenities. I would like to see more food outlets at the airport, variety. On board the aircraft, I think we're really good. But it's until we get to the aircraft, there's still room for improvement there. And this is what I said, we're working very closely with our partners to do that. And they are working on it.
And what about the immigration procedures?
You have seen that actually at Malpensa Airport now they have started as well with the electronic passport border control.
But that's EU.
Yeah, EU. But no, Canada and the US is now included as well. I believe more countries are coming to be included. I haven't seen, you know, we monitor it almost every day, and even during the peak hours, even if it appears that there is a lineup, it actually clears quite quickly. They're quite efficient.
Because nothing is more infuriating than getting off a 10-hour flight and standing in line for 2.5 hours.
Definitely, yeah. What I say to them is Malpensa is a hub. There's some people who are coming to Italy, and there's some people who will transfer only through the airport. And their impression of Italy will be the airport. So think about how you would like to present Italy and showcase the country.